All right, we're finally into day 5, episode 8 of my modular journey. Day 5 basically means I played with the day 1 stuff for a couple of hours and ran to the internet to buy more stuff. Because yes, it was a lot of fun, and yes, I was making great little musical interludes with what I had, but definitely wanted more. So after searching all over the webs again, doing my constant level of research that I do, it seemed like the next logical step was to introduce some kind of randomization to the board. I wanted something a little bit different, so another thing that just kept coming up all the time for ambient, generative, random type music was Mutable Instruments marbles. And I think you're starting to see a pattern here, right? Mutable Instruments. I mean, they're beautiful. Beautifully designed. I just love these things. I really am a fan, honest to God. So Marbles is a random sampler. So what it does really is it kind of a quick overview of it is it has a T side for triggers, then it has an X side for pitches. And so it has 3 different triggers that it can randomly generate. It has 3 different pitches it can randomly generate. It's got a thing in the middle that I don't even know what it does because I never use it. But over here on the T side and the X side, they both have a bias knob, which basically means the centers are always triggered evenly. But if you turn these knobs, it'll do coin tosses between the ones and the threes to decide which one gets more hits. The top area here is the Turing machine in a way where whatever randoms are being generated down here, you can cause it to go super random or lock it in if you find a pattern you like, and a pattern of 16 through 1 steps long, and then it'll just keep repeating. You could turn these buttons on here to kind of like lock T into place or lock X into place if you like, again, you like the randoms that are being generated. Oh, there's also a spread knob, which basically is how much of the scale do you want to randomize. These are all tons of fun to play with when it's generating random stuff and just see what each thing does, which is exactly what we're going to do right now. The only sound demo I'm going to do here is basically the same thing you just heard with Rings and Pamela. I'm just going to use marbles instead. So I'm pretty much going to take the trigger, which is, again, the short burst. I'm going to put the trigger into strum, and I'm going to take the X3 into a volt per octave, so that's pitches. And then I'm going to tone up my rate so you can see it's going faster. And now I'm going to turn up the sound. Turn down my reverb a little. So it's basically the same thing you heard with Pamela's demo, but this is more melodic to me because I can dial it in however I want now. A wider spread of notes. I want to hear more lower notes than higher notes. I could turn it to the left. If I want to hear more upper notes, which I do usually. And if I wanted to trigger more often, I could turn that up higher. But if I wanted to be more random, like if I had something else plugged in here, which I guess I could do with Plaits in a moment, I could turn it that way, so that way the other one gets more of a balance. So the Deja Vu section again, if I want to do some randoms, some more random, I turn it to the left. Let's get some volume. So while that's playing, let me wire up some stuff for Plaits. But that's it. I mean, that's kind of how it works. So if you watch the LEDs, this is plates being triggered, and then this is rings being triggered. The last thing I want to show real quick is how I want to control marbles, and thus everything it's triggering through my clock or sequencer. Either way, basically I want to send a signal to turn it on or off. So if I turn up the volume again, you can hear it going until I plug in this clock. So now marbles knows to wait until a clock signal comes in, right? So now I have it set to turn on a clock. So now it'll continue. But as soon as the clock gets plugged into either side of marbles, this rate knob changes. It changes functionality. It's no longer beats per minute. It's now kind of a clock divider. So the higher you make it, the faster it goes. So now, because the clock, that's as high as it'll go. If I want it to go any faster, I actually have to change my clock divider, or multiplier. Then if you stop the clock, the sound actually stops. So that's pretty cool. So that's it for episode 8, starring Mutable Instruments marbles. Next up, I'll be talking about yet another Mutable Instruments module called Stages. Stay tuned.